For this experiment, you will need a stack of nickels, a graduated cylinder, some distilled water, and a ruler that measures in millimeters. You will also need access to an analytical balance. This is a 4 decimal digit balance. It does not need to be this precise, but you should use the most precise equipment that you have access to. First, tear the balance so that it reads at 0, and then place one of the nickels on the pan of the balance. If there is a door on your balance, close it to avoid a draft, and then wait for the mass to settle and record that gram amount. Next, we're going to calculate the volume of the coin using V equals pi r squared times h by measuring the diameter of the coin. If you can measure to less than a millimeter, that would be great. If you can only measure to the nearest millimeter, that will work. So we need to measure the diameter of the coin, and you also need to measure its width. Using this formula, you calculate the volume of an individual coin, and then put your data into this table. If we know what the mass of the coin is and what its volume is, then mass divided by volume is density. Calculate that value in grams per milliliter. The table has multiple places for you to put data because we would like you to replicate the data by taking the measurement 3 times. By averaging your measurements, you minimize the inclusion of errors. The second part of the experiment, we're going to do measurements on a slightly larger scale. So take a stack of nickels that you have counted and weigh the whole stack on the balance. By doing the experiment on a larger scale and averaging the answer down, we improve the precision of the experiment. So take a stack of nickels, count them, take a graduated cylinder, and then add distilled water into the graduated cylinder till about the 30 or 40 milliliter mark. Measure the volume as accurately as you possibly can by finding the place where the bottom of the meniscus touches the graduated cylinder. If this is between gradations on the graduated cylinder, it is okay to go ahead and estimate where you are between those lines. Next, take your stack of nickels and gently add them to the graduated cylinder. You might want to slide them down the side of the cylinder rather than just plunk them in, even though this is Pyrex. You can do them all at the same time, I think. Yeah.
There you go.
Okay. Archimedes came up with the principle of estimating or calculating the volume of an object by displaced volume. Measure what the new volume in the graduated cylinder is. That is the volume that has been displaced by this number of nickels. If we take the displaced volume and divide by the number of nickels, then I have a more precise estimate of the volume of each nickel.